Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to today's video. So as most of you know, recently when the Packers drafted Jordan Love in the first round, Brett Favre had some things to sort of say about the situation, and he just recently had some more thoughts about the current situation. So I'm going to get into that in a little bit. But before I get into that, I haven't made a video really regarding the Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love situation, so I thought I would give my thoughts about that right before I give the quote that he said. And the reality of the situation is we don't really know what's going on, and so I think it's likely that this big, huge drama that the media has created around the Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love situation, I'm guessing that it's not as big a deal as it actually may seem. Because the thing is, when you look at the situation, lots of it is speculation. It's we don't have all the facts as fans and people just looking from the outside. We don't know what's going on inside the locker room. I mean, not literally right now, but we don't know what's going on with the coaches, with the players, what they're actually thinking. And so it's mostly just speculation of what, someone says one thing, and so you sort of take that comment and create all these storylines, and they just sort of come out of nowhere. So I think overall, it's not really as big a deal as people make it out to seem. Because at the end of the day, the people in charge of an organization, their job is to find the balance between having a great team in the future while also winning in the present. And I think that teams take different stances to this. Some teams will think okay, well, we have this, let's say Drew Brees or someone like that, let's stack the team before he retires, and then we're gonna have to rebuild after that. And maybe some teams are thinking, no, let's try to win now while also preparing for the future. So I think there's a fine balance, and I think that's what the Packers were doing when they drafted Jordan Love in the first round. I think they were just thinking about the future, and they also, I think that the receivers we have, because that's the biggest thing people are wondering about, I think they believe the receivers we have are good enough to help Aaron Rodgers again this year. I mean, we got to the NFC Championship last year, so I think they believe that. And as a fan, I initially was wanting them to take a receiver, and so I think initially whenever you see that Jordan Love pick, right away you're wait, what? What is going on? And it's really easy to sort of go into that idea of oh wait, are they trying to get rid of Aaron Rodgers? It's really easy to get into that mode, but when you take a step back, it's easy to see these guys are probably just preparing for the future. And I think if you're Aaron Rodgers looking at this situation, of course you want to win now, and you maybe wish, I don't know, I can't speak for Aaron Rodgers, but maybe he wishes he could have another receiver. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he's completely satisfied with this group. I think lots of people are just sort of putting words in Aaron Rodgers' mouth. But I think he probably understands that the Packers are trying to they have to prepare when he's gone. They can't just focus on when he's here. And so I bet he understands that as well. So I just wanted to sum it up with that before I give the quote. But here's a quote from Brett Favre that he recently said when he's sort of talking about the situation again. He said, "I think when I look at the situation with Aaron and my situation, yes, they're very similar, but there is a big difference. They were several players away from the Super Bowl this year. When we drafted Aaron, that wasn't the case." And so basically what he's saying is, sort of as lots of fans have thought, that the Packers now are pretty close to being a Super Bowl team with maybe a few more players. Who knows if that's actually the case? But that's what Brett Favre seems to think, that maybe when Aaron Rodgers was drafted, when he was playing, the team wasn't as good as this team is now. And so he's sort of just saying well, this team is close, so I could see why they would draft. I don't see why they would draft Jordan Love, which I think is just how lots of fans are thinking, which is a normal thought to think. There's nothing wrong with thinking that, but I think there's just so many different ways to look at this entire situation. There's no one right way, no one right opinion. And then one other thing I wanted to point out, he sort of goes on to another quote, sort of about the contract situation. I have seen a few videos and articles talking about Aaron Rodgers' contract and sort of how it could sort of go with Jordan Love's contract, the entire situation. And I'm not really an expert on contracts at all. But from what I'm reading, it's lots of people say that it doesn't really make sense for the Packers to get rid of Aaron Rodgers now at all. I think it would cause a big cap hit to the Packers, and it wouldn't really make much sense. But in 2 or 3 years, especially after 4, it could make more sense. And so, there's tons, as you guys watching this probably know, there's tons of speculation as to whether, after 2 years he could end up leaving. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't, we don't really know. Maybe after 3 years, maybe after 4 years. But the thing is about this situation, it's not okay, in 2 years they're thinking, we're just going to get rid of Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love will come in and carry this team. It's there's so many different things that have to happen in this entire situation. It depends on how Aaron Rodgers is playing. Is he still at the level that he once was? Because, at some point, a player isn't going to be as good as they once were. I don't know if that's necessarily time for Aaron now, but eventually that time will come. And then at the same time, you have to look at Jordan Love and say, okay, they're not just going to throw him in here just because they drafted him. They're going to have to see, is this guy ready to carry this team? And so there's just so many different moving pieces and parts for this entire situation. So Brett Favre said about the contract, as I was sort of stating, when his contract gets close to running out, it also will be running out for Jordan Love. And at that point, do you re-up Aaron for a few more years for 40 or 50 million? Or do you go with the young guy and give him a new deal? I don't see the young guy getting a new blockbuster deal without ever really proving himself. That's why I said Aaron Rodgers would play elsewhere. And so basically he's saying that with that contract situation, it sort of seems like they might be thinking that Aaron could leave after the second or third year so that I can have like a cheap Jordan Love contract and then also bring in all these other players, which could make sense. But I think only time will tell for this entire situation. We'll just really have to wait and see. But I don't think this drama is as big actually as people make it out to seem. So I just wanted to sort of go over that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully you got some value from it. And I'd love to hear your thoughts below of this entire situation, because there's so many different opinions about this. And I think that, everyone of course has their own opinion. But at the end of the day, you don't really know exactly what is going on. And as Packers fans, it's like all we can do is hope that, these players that we have will do good and cheer them on no matter what happens. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, I would love if you'd like it down below and subscribe to this channel. Why not? But that's gonna be the end of this video, and I'll see you guys on the next one.